Storms do not only rage outside, they can rage inside you as well. The turbulence of emotions, the whirlwind of thoughts, the clash of fear and uncertainty, they all form storms within your own being. When the mind and heart are in chaos, even the simplest moment feels overwhelming and life loses its clarity. But storms are not meant to last forever. They are temporary, intense and transformative. When the storm passes inside you, what emerges is not emptiness, but a new space of clarity, strength, and understanding that was hidden beneath the turbulence. The first step in navigating the storm within is to recognize its presence clearly. The mind and heart are often in turmoil, yet most people refuse to acknowledge the intensity of what is happening inside. Thoughts race, emotions flare, and tension builds, but pretending it is not there only strengthens the chaos. Recognition is not a passive act. It is a deliberate acknowledgement of every emotion, every fear and every restless thought that constitutes the storm. By seeing it as it is, without judgment or denial, you create the possibility for clarity to arise. Awareness of the storm requires honesty and attention. You must confront the feelings that you often avoid, the anxiety, anger, confusion or despair that rise uninvited and demand your energy. When you turn your focus inward and observe these forces as they unfold, the mind stops being a victim to the turbulence. Awareness acts as a stabilizing force, giving you the space to witness the storm rather than be consumed by it. Recognizing the storm also involves noticing the subtle signs before it escalates. Tension in the body, tightness in the chest, shallow breathing, or restless thoughts are indicators that the inner climate is unsettled. By paying attention to these signals, you can identify the storm early and prevent it from dominating your mind entirely. Recognition in these moments creates the opportunity for conscious choice, where the storm no longer dictates your behavior. Acceptance is inseparable from recognition. Acknowledging the storm does not mean you fight it, suppress it, or try to make it disappear immediately. The moment you resist or judge the storm, its intensity increases. Recognition paired with acceptance allows the energy to flow through naturally, giving the mind the ability to settle over time. By simply being present with the storm, you weaken its power over your inner being and create the conditions for calmness and clarity. Through consistent practice of recognition, the mind gradually shifts from reaction to observation. Thoughts, emotions and fears continue to arise, but they no longer control your state of being. Each time you recognize the storm, you reclaim your presence, strengthen your resilience, and cultivate the ability to navigate life with steadiness and awareness. Recognition becomes the first step in transforming inner chaos into clarity, allowing the mind and heart to emerge stronger and more aligned with your true self. Resistance to the chaos inside only strengthens its intensity. When the mind struggles against the thoughts and emotions that arise, it creates friction, tension, and a sense of conflict that amplifies the storm. Fighting against what is already present wastes energy and keeps the turbulence alive, making it seem larger and more threatening than it truly is. The more you push, the more the storm pushes back, and the inner disturbance grows instead of diminishing. Allowing the chaos to exist without interference is not the same as giving up. It is a conscious choice to stop fueling the turbulence with struggle. By letting thoughts, emotions and impulses flow naturally, you create a space in which the energy can move and dissipate on its own. Observation without resistance gives the mind a chance to rest and prevents it from being drawn further into fear, anxiety or agitation. Acceptance of the inner storm does not mean ignoring or suppressing it. It means acknowledging every surge of emotion, every racing thought, and every ripple of unrest without labeling it as good or bad. When you stop resisting, the storm no longer has the same grip over your attention. You witness it as a passing phenomenon rather than a permanent state which gradually weakens its power over your inner being. This approach transforms your relationship with inner turbulence. Instead of reacting impulsively, lashing out or becoming overwhelmed, you remain present and steady. The mind learns that it does not need to defend itself or control every movement of energy within. Calmness arises not from force, but from allowing the storm to move through naturally and settle on its own. Over time, the practice of non-resistance reshapes the mind and heart. Turbulence still arises, but it no longer dominates your consciousness. You respond rather than react, observe rather than engage in conflict, and maintain steadiness regardless of internal upheaval. By relinquishing the struggle, the storm loses its intensity and clarity, balance and inner strength emerge as the natural state of your being. Awareness of the body provides a stable anchor amidst the turbulence of the mind and emotions. When thoughts race and emotions surge, the mind can feel unmoored, drifting in a sea of uncertainty and intensity. Focusing on the body, the breath, and the subtle sensations within creates a point of reference that cannot be shaken by passing thoughts or fleeting feelings. The body becomes a grounding force, a constant presence that brings the mind back from chaos into clarity. Breath is one of the most immediate and powerful tools to anchor awareness. Each inhalation and exhalation provides a rhythm that the mind can follow, helping to calm agitation and center attention. When the mind is caught in anxiety, fear or restlessness, returning to the breath reconnects you to the present moment. The simple act of observing your own breathing carries the energy of stillness and provides a foundation for steadiness amidst internal storms. Feeling the body fully involves more than just physical sensation, it is the conscious awareness of every part of yourself. From the pressure of your feet against the ground to the subtle tensions in your muscles, every sensation is an invitation to return to your own being. By tuning into these details, the mind begins to move out of reactive patterns and into a state of presence. The body becomes a constant companion, offering guidance and stability that the mind alone cannot provide. Anchoring in the body also transforms the experience of emotional turbulence. When emotions arise, they are felt physically before they are processed mentally. Anger may manifest as heat, fear as tension, and sadness as heaviness. By observing how these emotions flow through the body, you gain insight and distance, allowing the mind to respond rather than react. The body becomes a mirror, reflecting the intensity of inner experience and offering a path to calm and clarity. Over time, the consistent practice of grounding yourself in the body reshapes the inner landscape. Thoughts and emotions continue to arise, but they no longer sweep you away. The mind becomes steadier, emotions become intelligible rather than overwhelming, and presence becomes natural. By using the body as an anchor, the inner storms lose their power and the mind and heart find a steady, centered state from which clarity, awareness, and inner strength naturally emerge. Observing thoughts and emotions without attachment requires a shift in how you relate to your own mind. Most people identify completely with every thought, every worry, and every feeling, believing that these mental and emotional currents define who they are. This identification strengthens inner turbulence and keeps the mind and heart entangled in constant reaction. By watching without attachment, you begin to see that thoughts and emotions are temporary phenomena passing through consciousness rather than determining it. When you witness your inner life without clinging, the mind gains space to breathe. Thoughts arise, move and dissolve on their own, like clouds drifting across the sky. The energy that was previously consumed by fear, judgment, or desire is released, allowing awareness to expand. This distance does not create detachment from life, but cultivates clarity and the ability to respond consciously rather than react automatically. Non-attachment also helps in observing emotions as they flow naturally through the body. Anger, fear, sadness, or joy appear, shift, and vanish without leaving behind unnecessary residue when you do not cling to them. Each emotion becomes a signal or a teacher, providing insight into what is happening within without overwhelming the mind. By observing in this way, you remain grounded and unshaken even when turbulence is intense. Practicing observation without attachment strengthens resilience and self-mastery. When thoughts and emotions no longer dictate your state of being, you experience freedom from internal chaos. The mind is no longer driven by compulsions or impulses, it becomes a tool of awareness that can move fluidly with life rather than being tossed about by every passing mental or emotional current. Over time, this practice transforms consciousness itself. Thoughts and emotions continue to arise, but they do not pull you into reactive patterns. You learn to witness without identification, to understand without judgment, and to maintain clarity regardless of what is happening inside. By observing without attachment, the inner storms lose their intensity and the mind achieves a state of steady presence, insight, and inner strength. After the turbulence begins to settle, the mind starts to reveal a clarity that was hidden beneath the chaos. Thoughts that were once jumbled and overwhelming begin to organize themselves, and emotions that seemed uncontrollable become intelligible. The heart, too, becomes steadier, no longer pulled in conflicting directions by fear, anger, or restlessness. This clarity is not superficial, it penetrates the depths of your being, offering insight into patterns, priorities, and truths that were obscured by the storm. Rediscovering clarity requires careful attention to the subtle shifts within yourself. As the intensity of inner turbulence fades, you can observe the residual thoughts and feelings with a calm, discerning mind. The mental noise diminishes, leaving space for understanding and reflection. In this quiet, the mind can evaluate experiences, recognize lessons, and discern what truly matters, rather than being dominated by reactive impulses or compulsive thinking. Inner clarity reveals the gaps between reaction and response. During a storm, the mind often acts out of habit, fear, or attachment, leading to confusion and repeated patterns. As the storm passes, awareness grows, and you can see where you were driven by impulse versus conscious choice. This perspective allows you to reclaim control over your responses, transform old habits, and approach life with a sense of grounded presence. Clarity also strengthens emotional intelligence. Emotions no longer overwhelm or cloud judgment because you can witness them without being consumed. You understand why certain feelings arose, what they indicate about your inner state, and how to respond in a balanced way. The mind and heart work in alignment, and the turbulence that once dominated your awareness becomes a source of learning and insight rather than fear or resistance. As this rediscovery deepens, the mind and heart operate from a centered, coherent state. Life feels more vibrant, decisions become more conscious, and your sense of self becomes unwavering. Inner clarity transforms the way you perceive experiences, not by removing challenges, but by allowing you to navigate them with presence, wisdom, and strength. The storm leaves behind a renewed capacity to engage with life fully and consciously, grounded in a clear understanding of your own being. Cultivating inner stillness requires conscious attention and patience. The mind is naturally restless, constantly moving from one thought to another, and emotions rise and fall like waves. Stillness is not the absence of thought or feeling, but the ability to remain anchored and aware while they arise. By focusing on the breath, the sensations of the body, or simply the present moment, you create a center of stability that allows the mind to observe without being swept away by turbulence. Even brief moments of stillness can have a profound impact on how the mind experiences chaos. When you pause, slow down and attend to what is happening inside without interference, the intensity of the storm diminishes. Thoughts that once seemed overwhelming begin to lose their grip, and emotions that were powerful and consuming begin to flow naturally without dominating your awareness. The mind learns to find balance through repeated practice of returning to this calm center. Stillness also allows you to witness patterns in your own thoughts and emotions. When the mind is quiet, the habitual reactions and conditioned responses that fuel inner turbulence become visible. Observation without interference gives you insight into the causes of agitation, fear or restlessness, and this understanding gradually weakens their power over your state of being. Through stillness, clarity begins to emerge from the very turbulence that once seemed chaotic. The practice of inner stillness strengthens resilience. When the mind becomes accustomed to finding calm amid activity, it does not collapse under pressure or become entangled in fleeting disturbances. Emotions can arise fully and dissipate without leaving residue, and thoughts no longer dictate your state. Stillness provides a stable platform from which the mind can respond intelligently rather than react impulsively, creating a sense of mastery over internal storms. Over time, cultivating stillness transforms the mind and heart. The turbulence of life continues, but it no longer dominates consciousness. Thoughts, emotions, and impulses can be observed and integrated with awareness rather than being feared or suppressed. Inner stillness becomes the natural baseline of experience, a place of clarity, strength and presence that allows the mind to navigate life with composure, insight and enduring balance. Every storm that arises within carries lessons that can transform your understanding of yourself and life. When the mind and heart are in turmoil, it is easy to feel lost or overwhelmed, yet within that intensity lies the potential for deep insight. Each moment of fear, anger, confusion or sorrow is an opportunity to examine your patterns, reactions and attachments. By engaging consciously with these experiences, you begin to uncover the subtle dynamics that shape your inner life. Reflection on past turbulence allows you to see how the storm influenced your thoughts, emotions and behaviors. You can identify recurring patterns, triggers and responses that previously went unnoticed. Understanding these dynamics provides clarity, showing where the mind acted out of habit, fear or compulsion rather than awareness. Each insight gained in this way becomes a tool for conscious living, strengthening your ability to navigate future storms with intelligence and composure. The process of transforming experience into wisdom also involves integrating the lessons into daily life. Recognizing patterns and insights is not enough. You must apply them in the way you think, feel and act. When you consciously adjust your responses, make deliberate choices and act with awareness, the turbulence of past storms is no longer wasted energy. Instead, it becomes a foundation for greater clarity, emotional intelligence and inner resilience. Every storm, once observed and understood, enriches your capacity to face future challenges. The mind becomes less reactive and more discerning, the heart becomes more open and balanced, and the body responds with steadiness rather than tension. Wisdom arises naturally from experience when observation, reflection and application are combined. Each turbulent episode leaves behind not pain alone, but insight, understanding and an enhanced ability to live consciously. Over time, the practice of transforming inner turbulence into wisdom reshapes your entire inner landscape. Storms continue to arise, as life is inherently unpredictable, but they no longer dominate or destabilize you. Instead, each storm becomes a teacher, offering guidance and strengthening your awareness. The mind, heart, and consciousness align, allowing clarity, balance, and inner strength to become the enduring outcome of every challenge faced. After the storm inside begins to settle, every action and thought takes on a new quality of presence. You are no longer moving through life mechanically or being driven by the compulsions of past habits and unexamined reactions. Each step, each decision, and each interaction is approached with awareness and intentionality. The turbulence that once clouded your perception has cleared enough to allow the mind and heart to operate in harmony, and this alignment brings a sense of groundedness that was previously absent. Presence after the storm is cultivated through conscious attention to the here and now. When the mind is fully engaged with what is occurring in the moment, it no longer clings to regrets, worries, or imagined outcomes. Awareness itself becomes a stabilizing force, anchoring you in the reality of your own being. Decisions arise from clarity rather than reaction, and actions are informed by understanding rather than impulse. This grounded state creates a profound sense of alignment with your own nature. Moving with awareness also means feeling the connection between your inner state and the external world. When the storm passes, you are able to act in ways that are responsive rather than reactive. You notice the subtleties of situations, the nuances of interactions, and the layers of energy in every encounter. This attunement enhances your capacity to navigate life skillfully with empathy, insight, and a calm presence that was obscured during turbulence. The alignment that follows the storm strengthens resilience and stability. Life will continue to present challenges and unpredictable events, but the mind and heart remain anchored. Reactions become measured, emotions are processed consciously, and the energy once consumed by inner chaos is redirected toward intentional action. Presence transforms the way you move through difficulties, turning them into opportunities for learning, insight, and growth. Over time, moving forward with presence and alignment becomes a natural state rather than a conscious effort. The mind, body, and heart operate in coherence, and every choice is infused with awareness and understanding. The inner storm no longer defines your experience. Instead, the clarity and groundedness that emerge from it shape your actions and perception. Life becomes richer, more purposeful, and fully integrated with your own conscious being. After the storm inside begins to settle, every action and thought takes on a new quality of presence. You are no longer moving through life mechanically or being driven by the compulsions of past habits and unexamined reactions. Each step, each decision, and each interaction is approached with awareness and intentionality. The turbulence that once clouded your perception has cleared enough to allow the mind and heart to operate in harmony, and this alignment brings a sense of groundedness that was previously absent. Presence after the storm is cultivated through conscious attention to the here and now. When the mind is fully engaged with what is occurring in the moment, it no longer clings to regrets, worries, or imagined outcomes. Awareness itself becomes a stabilizing force, anchoring you in the reality of your own being. Decisions arise from clarity rather than reaction, and actions are informed by understanding rather than impulse. This grounded state creates a profound sense of alignment with your own nature. Moving with awareness also means feeling the connection between your inner state and the external world. When the storm passes, you are able to act in ways that are responsive rather than reactive. You notice the subtleties of situations, the nuances of interactions, and the layers of energy in every encounter. This attunement enhances your capacity to navigate life skillfully with empathy, insight, and a calm presence that was obscured during turbulence. The alignment that follows the storm strengthens resilience and stability. Life will continue to present challenges and unpredictable events, but the mind and heart remain anchored. Reactions become measured, emotions are processed consciously, and the energy once consumed by inner chaos is redirected toward intentional action. Presence transforms the way you move through difficulties, turning them into opportunities for learning, insight, and growth. Over time, moving forward with presence and alignment becomes a natural state rather than a conscious effort. The mind, body, and heart operate in coherence, and every choice is infused with awareness and understanding. The inner storm no longer defines your experience, instead, the clarity and groundedness that emerge from it shape your actions and perception. Life becomes richer, more purposeful, and fully integrated with your own conscious being.